And hello everyone, the next news release from the world of gymnastics has arrived. Today we'll discuss the most interesting news in this video, and I must say that there were some very curious ones, and there is something to discuss. So in this video we'll talk about the new head coach of the Russian national team, about innovations in the World Cup stages, as well as other changes that relates to gymnastics. Well, before you start the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so as not to miss new videos. And for those who are not aware yet, I remind you that in my Telegram channel, and the link is in the description, I will publish as quickly as possible all the news from the world of gymnastics. So if you want to be first to know, then subscribe to my Telegram channel. So let's start with Alina Kabaeva. As far as you remember, after the Olympics, Alina Kabaeva announced that an experimental international tournament, which he organizes according to the old rules of 2004 and 2005. At the time of the publication of the news, the tournament was to be held from December 17th to 18th, where gymnasts from 10 countries who participated at the Olympic Games in Tokyo should perform with 5 apparatus. And while there is no news about this tournament and the participants, however, Ekaterina Sirotina has footage from the shooting on Instagram stories, which she marked with hashtag Alina Kabaeva Foundation. So I think we can assume that the shooting was for this tournament. Darya Chubnikova, Maria Borisova, Ekaterina Selezneva, Irina Aninkova, Alina Protasova, Alexandra Skubova, Maria Pobedушкина, Yana Travkina, Alexa Nikolaeva and Anna Sokolova took part in the filming. The shots are very beautiful, even through stories. Apparently we are waiting for not just the tournament but the real show. Due to the introduction of new rules from January 2022, other points in gymnastics are also being updated in Russia. So the information appeared according to which age restriction for performing rings were lifted. So if earlier gymnasts performing in the KMS or the first category didn't have time to confirm their category due to any circumstances beyond their control, they were forced to end their professional career and remained without category, having left their entire childhood in gymnastics. Also, gymnasts couldn't perform at the competition in Russia, since it was impossible to perform but an unconfirmed category. The most interesting thing is that there was no such restriction at the international competition abroad, and girls could perform there. And now this moment has been settled, and in Russia the upper age limit has been removed for gymnasts. As a result, every child can perform any category and any age. I'm sure that this will have a good effect on many athletes, although most likely there will be a lot of girls with categories now, but on the other hand, it can also affect the development of amateur sport, where girls will be able to perform any categories at their own pace. Meanwhile, the Russian State Duma implemented a bill on additional payments to the Olympic champions coaches. Also, at the moment, there is a consideration of additional payments of coaches who took part in the preparation of athletes who won prizes at the international tournaments. Well, now to the most interesting. The official selection procedure for the World Cup series for 2022 has been released, and there are a lot of interesting things here. So next year, 5 stages of the World Cup will be held in Athens, Pesaro, Sofia, Tashkent and Baku, and since there is a maximum reduction of participants now, there are quite a lot of restrictions in this tournament. So only 2 gymnasts from each country will be able to represent only the federations of Russia, Belarus, Bulgaria, Italy, Ukraine, Japan, Latvia, Brazil, Hungary, Romania, Germany and Slovenia. Also, Dina Verina will be able to take part in any stage of the World Cup, regardless of whether she is declared or not. Since this year, Dina became the absolute world champion, she can be the 3rd gymnast to perform at each stage. This place is not transferred, so Russia will be able to claim any 2 gymnasts and Dina, which means that 3 athletes will most likely perform at the stage from Russia. I think this is very good news for us if Dina doesn't finish her career. There is also a quota for the host country, so in each country where the stage will be held, the host country will be able to apply one gymnast, but no more than 2 from the country. So it turns out nothing will change for the World Cups in Bulgaria and Italy, since the federation has already 2 quotas. All other federations will be able to send 1 gymnast from the country for each stage. The team can be represented in the group program by the federations of Russia, Italy, Belarus, Japan, China, Azerbaijan, Germany, Ukraine, Brazil, USA, France, Spain, Estonia, Hungary, Finland, and Kazakhstan. There is also a quota for the host country. If it is not on the list, their team can perform. Well, now interesting facts that in connection with the last World Championship affected Strong Federation of Gymnastics. As far as you remember, the Bulgarian national team didn't participate in the last World Championship in group exercises due to the injury of Lara Trotz. They were forced to withdraw upon arrival in Japan, so Bulgarian gymnasts, neither this team nor the other, will be able to perform at the World Cup stages, except at the home stage of the World Cup. The Israeli national team also didn't take part in the World Championship, although their federation made this decision long before the World Championship. So it turns out that the team in the group stages will not be able to take part in the World Cup series at all, and only 1 gymnast from the country can declare it in the individual all-around. However, there is one small thing, but if the federation don't confirm their participation before the draw or refused, that the quota will go lower to those teams that couldn't qualify. And if there is unlikely to be a place in the individual, then in the group exercises, since few teams take part in the World Cup, and if someone refuses, then those who didn't have a quota at the moment can be entered. In general, a strange and interesting selection. What is surprising here is that the Israeli national team hasn't applied either a team or individuals and has sacrificed places for the World Cup series. Although, on the other hand, there will be plenty of other tournaments, and this year is not Olympic or even pre-Olympic, so they have time to recover and work out according to the new rules. It will obviously be interesting to follow all these events. Well, now to the most important news, which revived all the chat after its appearance. So the media reported that the former head coach of the Israeli national team, Irina Vigdorchik, will take the post of the head coach of the Russian national team. It is possible that the media is a little undertelling and this will not be the post of the head coach, but the head coach of the group team, although it is impossible to exclude the possibility. There are rumors that Irina Alexandrovna VINER is not completely healthy and perhaps she decided to take off the load and shared it with the experienced trainer. And as it said, keep friends close and the enemies even closer. Although it should be recalled that Irina Vigdorchik didn't take part in the preparation of the Lena for the Olympics, it is possible that as the head coach she watched the process and gave her advice. Judging by the media, Irina Vigdorchik will prepare our national team for the Olympics in Paris in 2024. However, Irina Vigdorchik is famous not only as the best specialist in Israel, but also as a scandalous personality. There is more than one scandal connected with her in the world of gymnastics, and I think it will be difficult to find out whether all of this is the work of envious people or just Irina Vigdorchik likes to appear in the media in a scandalous light. In general, the heyday of the Israeli gymnastics is associated with Irina. Before she moved to Israel, she performed as a part of the Moscow national team and trained in the USSR, so her tempering and upbringing are definitely Soviet. Having moved to Israel, her gymnast quickly began to win everything possible, and at the same time scandalous news began to appear. Someone connecting that thing with the fact that she is simply envied in the federation, and someone that she doesn't hesitate to speak out, including criticizing the authorities and officials. One of the most high-profile scandals, the conflict occurred in 2016 when the Israeli team won gold medals at the European Championships. And later, right before the Olympics, one of the athletes of the Israeli national team said in the media that the coach kicked and hit her during the warm-up before the performance at the World Cup. Then all the girls supported their friend and Vigdorchik was suspended from classes with the team. As a result, only 6th place at the Rio Olympics. After that scandal, everyone in Israel turned against the coach, and according to Irina Vigdorchik herself, athletes in Israel are spoiled and there was no violence on her part, and it was just demanding on the eve of the important start. However, since 2017, the contract was renewed and Irina Vigdorchik returned to her duties. However, in 2017, she didn't declare a team for the World Cup, explaining that the team wasn't ready and Irina couldn't guarantee a good performance. After this scandal, the national team was completely reassembled. Before the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo, another scandal surfaced. A recording of a conversation with other coaches appeared in the media, where she discussed Lena and spoke about her in a bad light. There were also words in the audio recording addressed to VINER, where it was said that the head coach of the Russian national team doesn't control the judges, and this is a chance for Israel to take matters into its own hands. But then Irina Vigdorchik explained the appearance of this record by saying that it was just an attempt to weaken her before Tokyo, and the record was made 5 years ago and everything that was said on it wasn't true. Later, there was a lawyer through whom they claimed that this record was completely fake, but the contract was still broken. And now we see news that Irina Vigdorchik is moving to Russia and will probably train Russian gymnasts. Now the question is what will happen to the Israeli national team and what will happen to the Russian national team, and whether Irina VINER will still leave her post or will continue to work, but together with Israeli coach. Write in the comments what you think about this. Are all the scandals real or are exaggerated in Israel? And how do you feel about the fact that the coach of Israel will train our gymnasts? In general, this is clearly a topic for big discussion and an occasion to observe what will happen in the world of gymnastics next year. New rules, new head coaches from two strongest countries. Oh, I'm just looking forward to see the results. Well, that's all for today, and remember that I love you all very much, and bye-bye.